I guess I'm just going to get started. Seems like everybody can hear me. Hello, everyone. We, which is made up of me, Eric, as well as Michelle, Maria, and Michael, are glad you're here, and we appreciate your attention as we present our summation and analysis of Module 3, Visual and Video Ways to Attract. We felt it would be best to begin by discussing information processing, as it provides somewhat of a mechanical understanding of how the brain functions. According to Michael O'Ray of the University of Georgia, information processing is a cognitive processing theory that discusses how the mind works. There are three main components to this theory: sensory register, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Basically, we take in information from one of our five senses. I'm sorry, you're on the next slide. Which is the image on the left. And you see over, can you go to the previous slide? Okay. Sorry. Thanks. Which is the image on the left. The information is then processed in the short-term memory, which is where the thinking is done, and if necessary, is committed to long-term memory through active engagement, elaboration, and repetition. Once information is within the confines of a long-term memory, it could then be separated into three categories. Declarative information is information that we could speak about and could best be explained as finishing the sentence knowing that. Procedural information is knowledge that can be demonstrated through doing a task and can be defined in completing the statement knowing how. The last category is episodic information, which is described as being autobiographical and chronicles times, places, associated emotions, and other contextual knowledge. Alan Pivio even goes so far as to include a dual coding theory that suggests that memory for images is different than memory for words. This dual coding hypothesis states that when we see an image, both the image and a label for the image are stored in memory. He has also extended this theory by saying that this may also be the case for other senses as well. Can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, so when thinking of information processing, metacognition, or the self-aware study of thinking, often takes the form of various strategies. In the 1970s, there was an increase in knowledge of human learning, and it became clear to researchers that there wasn't any one type of method of learning that is most effective, that it depends on the individual. Joan Rubin and H. Stern in 1975 came up with a list of 24 strategies that accomplished second language learners use. The list was then broken down into three strategies that accomplish second language learn. I'm sorry. Lost my place. The list was metacognitive strategies involve thinking about learning process as it is taking place, and it can include such examples as using advanced organizers, self-planning, similar to the structure of courses here at ESC, self-monitoring, and self-evaluation. The second category, cognitive strategies, utilizes the direct manipulation of the material. Some examples of this are note-taking, repetition, and mnemonic devices. The third strategy, the socio-affective strategy, is a learning strategy that is dependent on learning from others, both teachers and peers. It's at this point that I'd like to pass the metaphorical microphone to Maria, who will discuss multiple intelligences and learning styles, something that we believe moves successfully in our hierarchical model of information.
Hi, thank you, Matt. Hi, everyone. I'm going to be going over the next couple of slides for Michelle, as she had a family emergency this evening, so forgive me if I stumble a little bit here. First of all, we would like to talk about learning styles, and I cannot see the slide very well, so I'm hoping it's her next slide, which has learning styles as a title on top. I'm afraid to turn because then I might disappear or something. So as far as our learning styles go, we have four main styles that we learn, that we favor learning. We have reading and writing, which is more of a text-based, organized with diagrams and written notes. The tactile learner, who really does more enjoy being hands-on. They need external stimulation. We have oral learners who really enjoy lectures and discussions. And we also have visual learners who really appreciate concepts with pictures. Next slide, please. Next, talking about multiple intelligences, Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences includes 8 common ones. Everyone has some degree of these, and I'm sure that you can see yourself in some or all of them. The first one, verbal or linguistic, writing, reading, telling stories, memories, and problem solving. Those are all kinds of things that speak to that type of intelligence. A mathematical, logical is questioning, working with numbers, experiments, solving problems. Um, then we go to the visual spatial, where that learner likes to draw, build, create, daydream, look at pictures. Bodily and kinesthetic, like to move around, touch and talk, and body language, which is going to become important in our next section for using video. Musical is just how it sounds, singing instruments, listening to music, humming. Interpersonal, appreciate talking to people, having friends, joining groups. Intrapersonal, would prefer to work alone, reflect, pursue interests. And naturalistic is being involved with nature, making distinctions that way. A point to make here, however, is that none of these have definitive boundaries. We all have some or all of each of these, and to the degree that we have them, it changes and can be changed throughout our life depending on culture and our experiences. So those can change, and those are important. It's important to remember as we're working with our learners. Next slide. And hopefully we're on using video to enhance learning environments. So as an introduction to this, one of the multimedia tools we can use in the e-mediated learning environment is that of video. During this part of our presentation, I will explore using this to meet our learning goals. So let's look at our learners, why we should even bother with using video, and points to consider when choosing when to use this powerful tool, and what types of videos we can choose. Next slide. As we discussed earlier in our presentation, our learners have different learning styles. In this slide, we can see that our students can be auditory, visual, or tactile learners. Relating this to the use of video in the learning environment, we can easily see how this type of media supports the visual learner and the auditory learner. However, how does it enhance the tactile learner's experience? For this type of learner, video is a great way to observe how a task is accomplished, which is important to this student. And also, as Gabriel was speaking about, how he was talking about using the technology to have students be able to really be immersive in their environment, I was thinking would really be good for them also. Clearly, video enhances the learning experience for all three of the most common learning styles that our students prefer. Video provides the holistic 3D images for the visual learner, the words and sequential support needed by the auditory learners, and the demonstrations that are favored by the tactile learner. This is also a way for this learner to see body language, which is important to their learning style. Next slide. Okay, now we know that video can enhance the learning experience for the common learning styles of our students, and that may be enough of a reason to include it in our course design. However, there are many more reasons supported by research and experiences. Starting at the top left of this slide, video can encourage motivation and creates an environment conducive to the effective learning goals we have established for our learners. Video supports dual-channel learning and provides content in both visual and textual forms, which will result in the recall of 50% of the information in the content, according to Edgar Dale's Cone of Learning. This came from an article, Multimodal Learning Through Media, in which the research says. I did not put in our links, but I did put it in our in our course itself, so you'll be able to look it up. It was an excellent article. Video is very powerful and allows our learners to create rich mental models and is very important in meeting the needs of our learners with special needs, as these students are very visual, which Michael will be speaking to you about shortly. Finally, video creation and use of supports Video creation and use supports the development of 21st century literacy, which is a crucial skill, which I think the first group spoke to. Next slide. So now we know that why we should include video in our learning spaces. So how do we choose when to use video and which videos to choose? First of all, and this I think is really important, using video should support the learning goal. The learning goal is set, and then we choose a video or videos that can meet those goals set for the activity. I think many times now technology is being pushed sometimes in ways that perhaps it's more about the technology than it is about supporting the learning goal. And when it's time to choose a video, keep in mind the following. The video should extend the learning of the student by offering other viewpoints and/or opportunities for the learner to carry out individual thinking. The video chosen needs to be accessible under control, such as start, stop, pause, and replay for the learner's use. In closing, video is very powerful, and using this tool can enhance the learning environment for all learning styles. Now here's Michael to speak to us about how we can meet the needs of our intellectually disabled students. Michael?
If Michael's having trouble, would you guys be able to kind of step in for him and I'll turn the slides? Michael, are you trying to speak? If you could type in the chat.
If Michael can't do it, Matt, do you want to do it, or do you want me to?
I think we'll have to move through them quickly anyway since we're running late and we do have one more group to go. So maybe you could address some of these for him and we'll just, if you could wrap it up in like a minute or two, we'll just take what we can get.
Okay, well, everybody hear me right now? Okay, I'm just trying to see his slide here.
If you like,
Okay,
I mean, I
Michael
don't know whether well, I don't know how much you've talked
Now I
about it.
can.
Okay.
Yeah, now I can. I know that Michael was talking to me about his work with learners who are now, they used to be called developmentally disabled learners, and now they are the intellectually disabled. Terms change in that field all the time. I'm not sure that is a good substitution. However, that's what they go with. So can we go to the next slide? Okay, so Michael went back over some of the visual styles and about different ways that we learn depending on what we favor. Can we go to the next slide, please? And I'm sorry I have my back to you, but this is the only way I can see the slides right now, and I'm afraid to move.
You're doing a
Michael
very good job, by the way.
I feel bad. Go to the next slide. I want to get to what was really important to him, if I can. Michael spoke about learning being a unique and personal journey, and I think that's important for us to remember that it's unique and personal to us as instructors, and it's the same for our students. And it's important for us to recognize and understand um, our learners and to find out what works best for them. So we're coming back to really knowing our students and our learners in our class, whatever styles they have, however whatever their preferences, and whatever story they bring to the learning environment is important. And by knowing our students, we will be able to differentiate uh, what we choose to use in teaching our students and to meet their learning goals as best we can. Next slide.
And
Okay, I
this
guess
is
that
your
was just
last
the
slide.
references.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that was the last one. So I'm sorry I had my back to you the whole time. However, that's our presentation. We appreciate you listening, and I'll get off the stage so other people can